Pod of the Dead Network.
Someone just say no. I don't want to do this anymore. All right.
I'm out. See you guys.
Check you later.
Bye, Tyler.
We got everything working. Now it's done.
Yeah, it's like,
You
you know
know,
what?
the moment's
Fuck
passed.
this place. This movie made me hate movies. Hello and welcome to Pod of the Dead. On today's episode, I am joined by a whole smorgasbord of guys today. So we have Brian Dunn.
Howdy. I'm the meat part of the smorgasbord.
Dustin Bridenball.
Ew.
And Tyler Exline.
The stinky cheese.
On today's episode, we are covering the 2001 Yakuza action, horror, splatter, torture, sadist film, Ichi the Killer. So, Ichi the Killer is directed by Takashi Miike, written by Sakichi Sato, and starring Tanubu Asano and Nao Amari. Based on a Hideo Yamamoto manga series of the same name, its plot follows a psychologically damaged man who is manipulated into assaulting or killing rival faction members of feuding Yakuza gangs while being pursued by a sadomasochistic enforcer. So, coming into today's episode, this was a Brian pick because Brian said, hey, I'd heard about this movie and I was looking to broaden my horizons in the horror genre, so let's check this out. So, I've seen this film maybe 20 years ago. What's your guys' history on it or take on it in your first viewing?
Right now it's regret.
I join on that bandwagon, I think.
I thought it was a really fun watch.
I'm right there with you, Tyler. So, are you guys familiar with anything else that Takashi Miike has done?
I know the name. I can't think of any of the films. He did Audition as well, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we've covered it on the podcast. He did Audition. He's done well over 100 different films, and not shorts, like full-fledged films. He's responsible for some JoJo's Bizarre Adventure live-action films. He did 13 Assassins, which is like legit my favorite movie of all time. Visitor Q, which is one of the weirdest, grossest films that I've had the displeasure of viewing. He's all over the place. He did the Dead or Alive movies, which are based on the fighting games. Like, he just does all sorts of weird K-pop thing, or J-pop rather, things, and does whatever he wants. And this is his adaptation of a manga series, and it kind of feels like it. Like, when you watch this movie, it's definitely one of my favorite comic book films. Let's just put it that way.
I don't know what to say personally on the film other than this is just a slow, weird trying to follow anything, and I think the movie's misleading a little bit by kind of not having sort of like a standout main character.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So
That's
you
fair.
see, okay, so you don't think there's a standout main character? Is this something that multiples of us agree on, or?
It took me a second to realize that the guy with the scars wasn't Ichi.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because it seemed like it was all about him.
Yeah, because he's on the cover and everything. But, like, if you think about it in the fact of, Dracula or something like that, he's not the good guy, but he's also not the guy that you're following the most in the movie. You're following Harkonnen and stuff like that. Kind of works into that, I guess. But this movie also, you get two main characters, and I understand the fact that it may not come across as clear and stuff, but it plays really big on like the duality of like S&M, like the whole sadomasochist thing between Ichi and how do you pronounce his name? Harakiri. So you've got one that wants all the pain done to him, and the one that wants to dispatch all of the pain. And that's the whole idea of this film. Is it's like this. The writer of it said that he views this as a love story between Kakihara and Ichi, and it represents the full extremes of their roles in the BDSM world.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
very
just like
interesting.
kinky Death Note.
Yeah, there you go. Kinky Death Note. Perfect.
All right, you're turning me around on this. Continue.
But like, I do get like the fact that I was explaining, like, Steph watched about half of it with me, and it was the second half. She didn't leave or anything. She walked in, she's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I don't know how to explain this to you." And then like the next scene, there was a sexual assault. So that's just great. So trigger warning, if you have not seen this movie, this is, I'm not trying to be Mr. Edgy or whatever, but this movie is not for the squeamish, because it deals a lot with extreme violence, sexual assault, all these things. Does it work? I don't know. Like, I'm always one that's like, you can take the essay out of the movie. I'm fine with that. I don't need to see it. They go hard, but not as hard as I kind of remembered. I thought it was a lot worse than it was, but it is definitely shocking that in the first like 10 minutes, you're kind of hit with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get sexual assault, and then you get jizz flower.
Yes, and the name of the film comes out of the jizz. So, I mean,
I'll give him that.
Oh,
That was
that's right.
and guess what?
The jizz intro.
And guess what? That is real semen.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
From whom?
I'll never
You know?
tell. Takashi Miike said in an interview that it is real semen.
Wow.
He couldn't get the consistency right. He had to source it, you know.
Head of prop department, Takashi Miike. Huh.
I just do the sticky stuff, guys. I just do the sticky stuff. So this came out in 2001, right? The horror films of that era, you know, I would have been like a freshman in high school, roughly, freshman, sophomore. And I look at this and I remember why I didn't really care for horror films when I was in high school, because you've got Hannibal, The Others, 13 Ghosts, Jeepers Creepers, Valentine, Dracula 2000, Shadow of the Vampire, that one's good. Bones, which is the Snoop Dogg vampire movie. This is what we got in 2001. So then Ichi the Killer
Sorry to
comes.
interrupt, but didn't Dracula 2000 also have a Coolio?
Oh, I think so.
That was a big horror year for rappers. I like it.
100%.
Was Halloween Resurrection that year?
Oh yeah, that Buster, right?
Yeah.
it would have been around then. But yeah, I've only got the top 10 for that year. But then also, this was blowing my mind. So to give you kind of a picture of films in general, the top 10 grossing films for that year were Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring was number 10. And then you've got Hannibal, Planet of the Apes, Jurassic Park 3, Pearl Harbor, Mummy Returns, Rush Hour 2, Monsters, Inc., Shrek, and then Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So I think I've seen every one of those films.
I think I saw every one of those in theater.
Damn. But I didn't come across this film until obviously out of high school. And I came across it the same way Brian basically came across it. There was just a list of these like crazy banned movies. And at that time I was like, I gotta fucking ruin my psyche as quick as possible, and watched anything I could find on that list. But
This was banned?
oh yes, this was banned in multiple countries. It was banned
Really?
in Thailand, Norway, Germany banned it for a long time, specifically because of its depiction of sexual assault. Not the violent, like the murder, but the cruel depiction of sexual assault. So, all right, since we're on it, right? We're talking we're just going to get this out of the way, right? So the big thing about this movie is like the violence as fetish and identity. So the film doesn't just depict it, it interrogates the psychology of it, is kind of a big thing with this. It's going over the top at times, but like when it comes to the sexual assault stuff, I do not think that it's like trying to revel in it. It's trying to disgust you in the fact of it happening. It's not trying to make it like this masculine, like, ooh, kind of thing. It's very gross, and it's kind of a driving point for Ichi, who has been lied to about his friend that was going to protect him, but then was sexually assaulted. That didn't happen. That was just a made up story that was fed to him. But that's kind of giving you the reason Ichi is the way that he is and how he has this sex and violence cross, because they do say also when you are like sexually maturing, if at that time there is like this weird cross wiring of sex and violence, that's part of the serial killer like stew. That and front head trauma and other stuff. But they say like that's a big thing. So I think as off-putting as it is in this movie, it should be off-putting. You know, it's not like, man, I really like it when that girl, you know, gets assaulted. Like it doesn't play in that at all.
Well, I mean, you saw the same thing in the last episode too, with Elijah Wood witnessing his mom getting railed in the street multiple times.
Oh yeah, we have a weird like run of films right now where they're like uncomfortably sexual. But so another big thing about this is how it's kind of broken up into its three acts. So we'll start off with like the beginning of the film. It's about the disappearance and the search. So the whole idea of this movie is Hirikara, I think is how you pronounce his name. I always want to mix it up. But Kakihara, there you go.
Yep.
Kakihara is looking for his Yakuza boss named Anjo, and 3 million yen have been stolen from his safe, and he is a sadomasochistic enforcer. And he just starts hunting down anybody that he even gets a little sniff of that could be responsible for it. And we are introduced to a man by the name of Suzuki, who gets hung by hooks. How was that for you guys?
So that was the scene I had originally seen that were like, this is why you need to watch Ichi the Killer, is a guy who's really into suspension.
Yes.
Well, when he talked about cooking the shrimp, I instantly was like, "Oh, this is gonna be part of the torture."
Yeah. I like that. Like
I saw it coming.
Yeah, he kind of used him as a walk at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he kind of does. Well, and it's funny too, because like Suzuki wakes up suspended, right? And like he looks up and he's just like, Kakihara? Tempura? It's just like, here we go. But yeah, so he basically gets this old fart, is telling him that Suzuki did this and he heard all this kind of stuff and everything. Lo and behold, that's the guy that's feeding Ichi all the fucking shit to cause all the chaos that he is. So I was trying to explain this to Steph. I was like, I straight up just told her, I was like, if you can get through all the sexual assault and over the top violence, this is just a straight up gangster film. It just straight up is. But Takashi Miike is just like, nah, no one's going to be comfortable today. But yeah, the whole first act of it is just him hunting down different people that could possibly be tied to it. And then you find out kind of at the end of the first act that Anjo was killed by Ichi, and he was manipulated. Later on, you find out that Gigi manipulates him into basically taking down the entire Yakuza. So that's kind of your first act. And that, I think how it starts is pretty good. Like, it has a good pace to it. I understand, like, later on in the film, it does definitely slow down. I think this film stumbles in the third act, but
I don't know. There's some odd things right off in the beginning with just weird, not camera angles, but like filters he throws on a ton of stuff.
yeah. And I don't know if he's using a lot of, like, digital or something, because this is kind of in that era where, like, digital filmmaking, 28 Days Later and the like that's a big thing. It's like, oh, we can do this instead of using film. I wonder if that was just kind of no different than, like, how all the PBS stuff back in the 80s was just all fucking, like, weird ass green screen, blue screen. If it was like, check out this new effect, and it just fucking, like, oversaturated grain for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
Throw the sepia filter on.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was any rhyme or reason, and then it never shows up again in the film. So,
Yeah, it happens at really weird times every once in a while where there'll just be, like, a random filter thrown on it. And I don't know if that's meant to mimic what it might have, like, that shot might have looked in the manga or something. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because there are scenes in this movie that, knowing that it came from a manga, makes me go, okay, I can accept that. I will cite the fact that Ichi pops, or not Ichi, god damn it, I'd keep doing it too. When no.
Kakihara?
Yes, when he takes the fucking rings off of his mouth and catches the dude's fist in his mouth.
Just completely unhinges like a snake. It's just
That
like,
does totally add up now that you said that this was based off of manga.
yeah, like, you see that, is like, if you don't know that it's part of that, you're like, what the fuck am I watching? But then it's like, it's a comic book movie. It's like, okay, I guess this makes a little more sense. Not a lot, but a little more.
But yeah, he's easily, I think, the most compelling character, which is not great because he's also just kind of solemn and boring a lot of the film, in my opinion.
Are you talking about
Kakihara.
Kakihara?
I th-
See, I like him all the way till the end, personally.
I think
It might be because of his clothes.
no, he's stylish as fuck. I will give him that.
This movie is stylish as fuck when it comes to the clothing.
Yeah, but him himself, a lot of the parts, he's just kind of like, yes, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
He's just kind of. He seems like he just doesn't want to be there.
Well,
yeah, he's too cool.
well, it's one of those things
Yeah.
too that, like, he's sad because Anjo's no longer around, and he loves Anjo because Anjo kicks the shit out of him. And he's just looking for that new person to kick the shit out of him. Like, so when he ends up hooking up with, I think it was like Anjo's ex or something like that, and he takes her to basically this room just in chains and just, like, fucking asking her to beat him until he's dead, and he's just like, nah, this ain't gonna work.
She speaks so much English in this film.
And it's really jarring. I would love to know why that happens too, because when it happens, I'm like, whoa, did I just learn how to understand Japanese all of a sudden? And then she
Yeah,
cuts
I
back
questioned
into
if
Japanese.
it was in English the whole time.
Yeah.
When she started doing that, I was just like, am I stupid? Have I just been reading the subtitles for no reason?
Oh,
She
but
also
I
has like a really English name too. It's like Roseanne or some shit.
Karen.
Karen.
Yeah.
Her name's Jim. But yeah, so, like, not to harp on it or anything, but, like, those kind of things make sense with Kakihara in being kind of solemn and stuff. Now, I can understand that doesn't make for an exciting character, but to me, and this is just me, I think that makes for an interesting character because it doesn't turn him into, like, the Joker or Carnage or something like that, where he's just like, just fucking cutting people up. I mean, he's getting excited that he gets to do it and stuff, but he's not manic. And then when you have Ichi and stuff, it's again, it's this real sad boy, you know, fucking kind of vibe and everything. But then, like, he's got a fucking boner. He's gonna fucking kick you with a shoe and cut you in half.
But I don't know,
what
man.
was his,
It's so
what
hard for
was
me
his
to
mid?
agree
Oh,
with it.
sorry,
If
Brian.
only. No, you're fine. But just because even when Kakihara is getting what he wants, he's like, "Oh, come on, man! You were so cool a second ago."
Yeah.
He never, even when he's finally getting what he wants, he's not emotive in any sort of fashion.
Well, I think a
So,
lot of it is because it's the hype getting to it, and then it's never matching what he was hoping. Like literally, the end of the film is that where he's just like, "Come on, please,
Come
you
on,
were
Dad.
supposed to fucking kill me,"
Please.
which is so
Dad,
fucking
I
weird.
wanted to go on another pony ride.
But all right, I'm going to start doing a round table. Tyler, who is your favorite character in the movie off the top of your head, and what's your favorite scene?
The burrow when he puts the dog ears on just for no reason. It was so out of left field. I'm just like, oh, they're going with this.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, he's the bloodhound. Gotcha.
full
I
on.
thought
Yeah,
things were about to get really cute when he put those on, but then he did something really gross.
yeah, just started sniffing the crotch.
Yep.
But again, it could have been so much worse. But like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, what is he doing? Oh, wait, he is actually looking for the scent of who could have been with her, and we're gonna go hunt her down. It's like, it's so fucking jarring to go from like absolute brutality to that. Because I think not too long around that, she is getting like stomped out, like full on. And then we have dog ears.
Is that before or after the dude's arm gets ripped off?
It's legitimately just pulled off. It's definitely in the same room. We'll say that.
It's before.
All right.
Yeah, it's before because they leave and then he pulls the arm off.
Hell yeah.
That's
'Cause
right.
the one
Yeah.
guy stays there. Yeah.
All right,
Do
Dustin.
you think I could pull your arm off with my bare hands?
It's just a fun little experiment.
And it's so out of left field too. There's no build up to that. He's just asking about it. You think someone could do that? I don't know. 5 minutes from now, we're about to see. All right, Dustin. What's your favorite scene in the movie?
Whoever Ichi's like manipulator was,
Gigi.
Gigi.
Yep.
He disrobes and suddenly he's just completely snatched. He's just totally ripped.
Yes. That
Yeah.
that feels like it comes out of like Kung Pao Enter the Fist or some shit.
Very
like
much so. Yeah. And the beautiful CG going on where you could clearly see the line between his actual head and that body. Yeah,
So
that was very
good.
funny. Yeah, that got a good laugh out of me.
All right, Brian, what you got?
Favorite character or favorite scene?
Either or, dealer's choice. You can go both.
As much as I'm just harping on him, I'm gonna go with the ending scene where he's just like pouting and like he's kicking him because he's like, "You're such a lame ass," and then the little kid comes over and is like, "Yeah, fuck you, guy."
Yeah, I love seeing the kid kick the shit out of him too. Because at the point that they start kicking the shit out of him, you are listening to him sob for what feels like 5 minutes. It's just like,
It was
kill
nauseating.
him, please.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Let's see here. I think, realistically, my favorite scenes are anytime Kakihara is like dispatching people to go places. So like he's got like the twins with him and everything. Whenever they're just kind of running around like playing big bad Yakuza, every single time it's just fucking funny to me because like everyone is scared of. Okay, here we go. This is a prime example. When Kakihara gets kicked out of the syndicate and everything, he's just like sitting at the table and everything. He's like, okay, right on. and he goes to grab something out of his pocket, and everybody just jumps up out of the way from him, thinking he's going to pull a gun. He just sets his pin down. He's just like, all right, I'm out of here. Leaves, and then just steps back in. It's like, oh yeah, I'm taking over that gang. They're like, fuck. or even there's the other like older guy that every single time he's around, he's just like hiding in a separate room, just kind of poking out, like trying to give orders, but does not want to be anywhere near Kakihara. That shit kills me every fucking time. Like, it's like when he cuts his tongue off and everything, he's just like, ooh, like about to fucking pass out and everything. I got problems, guys. I love that shit.
Was there a purpose to the tongue cutting?
Well, they were going to basically, what is it called? Is it Harikuri? Where like they're basically telling him that he was going to have to honor kill himself. Like they're done. He's like, no. You know what? I got a sweet tooth. I got a taste for sweets, and I'm gonna cut off the thing that allows me that. So that was like what he was telling him. It's like, this is what I love, and I'm going to get rid of that for you guys instead of the other.
I don't know how well that translates on the Peacock version of this movie.
Oh, really?
I think like a lot of the subtitles were off just reading them in terms like even when they were speaking English.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how much of that is lost in translation.
Well, and there's always that too, like regardless of what version, Japanese to English, there is always like a syntax that is lost every single time, because the way that they speak and then what you're reading, it's like, this feels like a grade school kid trying to be a badass. Like it always does, like in anime and stuff like this. It's just very, now I understand. You didn't want me to do that thing, but now that because you didn't want me to do the thing, I will do the thing. Like, it's just like, okay, it's probably written more eloquently in their native tongue, and I'm just too fucking potato brained to understand it.
But yeah, I'm now curious how much of, because I did not pick up the sweet tooth thing whatsoever while watching that scene.
Yeah, he straight up says it. Like,
I don't remember them even having any part of that during that thing. So I'm curious if the subtitles for my version are just that bad.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I thought I watched mine on Peacock.
I watched it on Tubi, and it mentioned the sweet tooth.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just having a bad memory right now. That could also very well be the case.
It is literally just a sentence. They do not divulge on it. He's just kind of like, I've got a taste for sweets, and I'll do this, and he just does it. Like, you know. But all right, beyond the essay, we're going to remove that because that's everybody's least favorite. What is your least favorite thing about this movie?
Rape.
I said not the essay.
Sorry.
God damn it, we all would have said that.
All right, I didn't pick up on it, what essay meant.
I thought we were talking about the Mexican guy. There's no Mexican guy in the movie.
Term for me.
Oh, I was talking about the midterm paper.
Yeah, I wrote 10,000 words.
My favorite or least favorite part of the movie, I would say, it's not a part, it's just the pacing. It like hits up here, like on certain scenes, and then like when it hits valleys, those valleys are really fucking low. So like basically any time that we're following Ichi around and he's not killing someone, I don't care. Like him playing like Tekken or whatever and all that kind of stuff, like them getting the phone call, like I just don't care. Like I get it, I already understand what he's doing and what he's going to do. You could have cut a half hour out of this film and it would have been fucking a banger.
I feel like the Gigi and like Ichi scenes was too exposition, like dumpy. Like they were trying to just force so much information that you already know. Like it's just reinforcing this idea again and again, like, well, you should do this because they're bullies.
Yeah. He looks like the bully that beat you. It goes real, and it makes you wonder too, because like I don't know how many volumes of manga this is that they tried to encapsulate into just this movie, but it could be the idea where it's like, this was fucking like 20, 30 volumes, and they're just like, just keep jamming it in there. Just fucking make them say all the things that the people want them to say. And I'm over here just going like, I mean, Kakihara is pretty fucking cool and there's blood. But let's see
Yeah,
here.
I think anything with Ichi was just kind of whatever. Other than him playing Tekken, because I was like, as soon as I heard the sound effects, like, I know that. What is that?
Anybody loving all the boners that he was getting? Anybody love all that?
Yeah, that was great.
The sad boners. I'm
Sad.
crying and I'm hard.
You
I
know,
didn't like the reason he was getting them, but yeah, it was funny.
The most uncomfortable scene in the movie to me is when he's with the prostitute, like at the brothel kind of place, and she's all beat the fuck up, and that's what's turning him on. Is that like that's the kind of shit that's in this movie that I'm like, I don't get it, but my brain is so broken that I'm like, there's a lot of good in here. I can just like go grab a beer when that scene's happening and come back.
It's good that you can separate it, though.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm just broken.
Best way I can describe this movie is you're going to a party and someone's taking a dump in the corner. Everyone's trying to have fun, but there's a guy taking a dump in the corner. It's very hard to ignore.
Yeah.
It's turning the vibe of the party off, and it's hard to move on.
Everybody's
The edgy-
asking him to leave.
Yep.
Instead, he's just making eye contact.
The edgy bad vibes anime kid is just trying to talk to you the entire time.
Well, and that's the thing. I can't remember. Somebody asked. It might have been you, Tyler, about like all the American quote unquote torture porn and stuff that came out in the early 2000s, and these are the films that kind of influenced that kind of vibe and whatnot to different grades. You know, whether it's good or bad. You know, but I don't know, man. Like I said, there's just something about this fucking movie that like I'm like, I by no means am I like, hey kids, gather around, let's watch Ichi the Killer. But it definitely is its own thing. So
Yeah, this is.
I do.
No, so go ahead.
Sorry, Brian. Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just going to agree that this is like a lot of the films we talked about already. There's nothing quite like it, so I find it interesting in that aspect. But it's
and it's
I don't know.
different coats for different folks, you know, like whatever floats your coat just kind of does your thing, you know. So I'm just here for I would far rather something, and this is just my thing, I would far rather a movie disgust me, make me revolted and stuff than just be milk toast. Like there is nothing worse to me than watching The Conjuring 30 or something like that. The first one's good. I like the first one. I'm not throwing shade at that. But everything after that, Annabelle, I'm just like, please fucking just kill me. You know, like I'm definitely in that like Kakihara mode at that point. It's like just fucking do something to me right fucking now. Somebody kill me, push me off a fucking roof. I don't want to watch this shit anymore. Now, it doesn't mean that that stuff's always good. I mean, I've seen my fair share of stuff that has revolted me and disgusted me that I have no interest in ever watching, but I at least had an experience outside of boredom.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with you there.
So, on the internet, found a couple reviews of this film. So, one of you has a 10 out of 10 review, and one of you has a 1 out of 10 review. Would you guys like to read those for us?
First, Brian, or you want me to?
You can go first, Dustin.
Alrighty. Ichi the Killer is a landmark picture in Japanese cinema. It is an
Goddamn
audio and
right.
visual attack on the senses and gag reflex, which adopts a unique style of movie / comic book hybrid filmmaking. A real Mike masterpiece? I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, Miike.
Oh, okay. I thought they misspelled Mike. All right.
I thought you were going to say a real humdinger. It's a real humdinger of a film.
It's a real doozy.
Kakihara is not your typical Yakuza gangster. He is a sadistic, masochistic, depraved, has a hair trigger for violence, and is really, really upset that someone has kidnapped his boss, Anjo, and taken off with 100 million yen. That was a big sentence. So torturing his way through the underworld, he manages to get kicked out of the Yakuza and finds out too late that it was a man called Ichi that killed his boss and is now after him. Kakihara then sets out for revenge, vindication in the name of Anjo. This is not a review, it's more of a synopsis. I'll keep going though. Ichi, on the other hand, seems to be more of a simple kind of guy who'd work for an ex-cop who loves to wreak havoc on the Yakuza. Akechi's work is thought to be that of a brutal, insane, and bloodthirsty maniac. But upon meeting him, one can't help but notice his peculiar innocence and naivete. However, it is a very feature that makes him so deadly.
Bum, bum,
Right.
bum.
When these two forces collide, it's endless violence, torture, rape, murder, blood, gore, and underworld danger and depravity. Ichi the Killer is a movie that directors like Quentin Tarantino only dream of making.
He says Quentin Tarantino has said that this is one of his favorite movies at the time that it came out.
What? No shit. All right. If films were people, his Kill Bills would only watch and drool at Ichi the Killer. Man, I don't agree with that at all. But...
I can get on board with that. By no means would I ever give this a 10 out of 10. You know,
that's pretty high.
that is.
How much was he paid for that review?
100
Obviously,
million yen.
Oh, speaking of, 3 million yen is like $200,000. Just as a heads up, I guess, for that.
That's all they
Nice.
had?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Seems like small pickles for the Yakuza.
Right.
for
Get those numbers up.
Okay. Well, okay, let's hear the 1 out of 10, and then I got something I gotta ask.
All right. This is a disgusting Japanese movie. There are a
Done.
lot of
no
graphic.
No more. Stop talking. You're upsetting the listeners.
I'm sorry, poor listeners. You technically didn't have to watch the film. You should feel bad for me and Dustin and Tyler, I believe, to some degree. Nick is the weirdo who loves this film.
Oh yeah, I own it, man. Go ahead, read it.
Oh, okay. I was told to stop. I listened real well. There are a lot of graphic torture and murder scenes, and I don't mean simple bullet in the head, but opening up people's bellies and letting all the guts fall out with blood splashing all over the place. Hanging a guy on a few hooks was quite disgusting, but watching how they poured boiling oil on his skin was unbearable. Really?
And a few hooks? A few?
Yeah. I'm I don't know. I maybe I'm broken because I feel like that was kind of like, yeah, whatever.
I thought it was a rad scene. Like it got the point across, but
yeah, oh no, it's neat, but I don't feel like it's so like clutch my pearls.
Maybe in 2001. Like I don't know when this review was written.
That's fair. The story is very stupid. A guy manipulated to kill through his fear of bullies. Here's how the conversation goes. These guys are bullies. Kill them. I don't want to kill anymore. If you don't do as I tell you, your dick will fall off.
Nice.
Before I watched it, I thought it might be a Quentin Tarantino type movie with lots of blood and gore.
Goddamn
But
right.
it was nothing of the sort. Totally wrong, but it was just awful, tasteless. Don't watch it. Terrible. Don't spend money on this. That's everything.
Damn, that's some harsh shit. What I was gonna say was, I think in both of those they talk about like no bullets to the head, blah blah. These dudes run around with guns the whole time, and like only 2 bullets are really fired in the entire film, and nobody actually ever gets shot. Everybody gets killed by other means, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
do you think that there is a way that this movie could be remade and it would be of your taste, whomever?
Yes. I think this film would. This is going to be me being an animation nerd. This film, I think, given maybe more than one film and done in an animation style, I think would portray a lot of it better than it does in live action because some of the stuff has become so outdated that it's a little distracting at times. And you can imply a lot of stuff more without showing as much, I feel, in animation. The SA scenes could be shadows on the wall in an animation scene, and it's less disgusting while still knowing what's going on and letting your mind do the work rather than seeing it.
Yeah, I can get on board with
Agreed.
that. I believe they made a sequel to this that is an anime. So,
Oh, really?
because I know that they did a prequel to it as well, but I don't believe that is anime. But I do know that there is an anime adaptation of these characters in some facet. But yeah, this, and that's the thing. This is one of those movies where like nowadays, if it were made, I think it would be done in a different. Obviously, I think that some stuff would be toned down a little bit. But at the same time, the idea of what we're starting to see with live action adaptations of manga and anime, I would be very interested to see a live action attempt remake of this. The safer bet would be an anime remake. Flat out. Like that would, and it would age better because of what you can do and everything would just kind of sit there or whatever. But I would be very, very interested to see, like, granted, an American remake would probably be god awful, but I would actually be interested to see this, like, these tropes. Well, I don't even want to say tropes, but like these characters kind of elaborated on a little bit more instead of it being, Kakihara or whatever pulling on a face while the other girl's pulling on the other side of the face, and it feels like something out of like Roger Rabbit.
Oh, that was pretty fun though. The little face tug of war, I did like that.
I didn't know people were made of taffy. This changes everything for me. No longer is cannibalism frowned upon, boys.
So, what's your guys' history with like Japanese films in general, or even anime? Like, do you guys have? I know like some of you do and some of you don't, but like,
I'm a weeb. You mentioned JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I have a statue of one of the characters from the Miike film he made.
oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I've watched like some Japanese films that are more like martial arts films, but nothing like super, super crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from just like, your run-of-the-mill animes and whatnot, I mean, I've seen various Asian horror, not specifically Japanese, but like, Korean, Taiwan horror. And I feel like even though there's the different regions that have their different, little nuances between styles, it still kind of reads very similarly.
Mhm.
Like you have the wailing, you have what was it, the sadness?
Oh my God, the sadness.
Ooh.
You want to see Gloopy?
Right?
You want to literally see someone get skull fucked. Not even joking.
Ugh.
Well, they do it tastefully. No, no one's ever said it was a tasteful skull fuck.
I could go for a good tasteful skull fucking.
Yeah, he
What
puts
would
the
you-
napkin in
what
his
would
lap
you-
before he does it. It's very classy.
Yeah, he tucks a napkin under his balls.
Yeah, his pinky's
What
out the whole
wine
time.
would you pair with this skull fucking?
Well, if it's any consolation, she's alive while it's happening.
At least she knows what's going on.
And
Is she alive after?
yeah, I think isn't she in a wheelchair during it too?
Oh yeah.
So you can
That's
watch
pretty
that.
wild.
It's on Shudder. Yeah, if you want to check it out. It's the sadness. It's actually not a bad film, but that scene is just possibly one of the most intensely gross things that I've seen in a long time.
That's kind of my experience with Japanese films. They're all very extreme.
Yeah.
The ones that come to mind are like Battle Royale,
Yep.
Suicide Club, and now Ichi the Killer. But they're all very wild.
Yeah, like they go on like just the opposite ends of the spectrum. They're either this or they're like Pulse or something, Ringu, where it's very like slice of life, but there's a ghost and it's kind of creepy and gets weird and like really surreal, or it's just fucking gonzo. Like, there's no middle ground that I've come across when it comes
Their
to
music
Japanese
seems
horror.
to be the same way too.
What's that?
Their music seems to be the same way too.
100%.
Yeah, you're a big metal guy, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Japanese metal is like it's pretty wild.
Yeah, a lot of their like real spastic like hardcore bands and like these weird jazz metal bands, and then the next is just like flute music.
Nick, I have a recommendation for you,
What you
being a
got?
metal guy. Have you ever heard of Detroit Metal City?
Is that the name of a
It-
band or a movie?
It is the name of a manga that became an anime about music, about a dude who does like soft, almost Japanese country
Oh, nice.
that has anger issues and becomes a death metal singer
Hell yeah.
using the same like chords and everything from his regular songs.
From his country. So he
Yeah,
basically just takes country and turns it into black metal.
yeah,
Send me a link to that. And
yeah.
I'll have to
I think
look
literally one of the whole things is because they actually got like real music videos, do concerts and shit with this. He accidentally hangs himself, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's the most brutal thing he could do."
Yeah, I know a lot of people at times that like just thought like that was the shit, was like, oh, that their vocalists killed themselves. They're the most metal band ever. I'm talking about Mayhem specifically. And it's just like, I mean, their music's okay, I guess.
I've heard
First
stories
album
about
was
them.
great.
Yep,
Death
that's,
Crush was amazing.
yep, that's about it. That's all I got for you. And they're still going strong. Okay. I'm glad you guys like it. I'll be over here listening to Dark Throne instead. But
Much better. Right
Yes.
there with you.
yes,
Yes, please.
much more
Yeah.
Dark Throne.
Mhm.
More Fenrir.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh,
One
did you
other
like
thing.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Kakihara is completely different in the manga.
Is he?
He's not nearly at all ostentatious. He looks like a normal Yakuza member.
Yeah, I did read something about that he was like a middle-aged man with like swept back black hair. And then, yeah, Takashi Miike is like, not in this movie. Fucking day glow, weird fucking suits and dusters and leopard print. And that's what I'm about. I'm gonna dress up as him tomorrow. I'm gonna get fired from my job for it because I'm about to do some really questionable things. What were you getting ready to say, Dustin?
Oh, it was more of a Dark Throne segue, but did you listen to Coffin Storm?
No, I have
Fenris?
not.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
Oh.
he's the vocalist, and it's just a like very old school doom metal album.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So good. Good fish shaker.
Good
Yeah.
fish.
Yep.
Good ghost masturbation. That's what I always call it.
Guess
Come here,
you can do
George
it like that.
Washington. So, all right. I don't know if I've got much more to say about this movie. It's not for everybody. It's probably for even less people than it should. Like, there's less people that I think are actually going to like this movie nowadays. I think the people that ride for this movie saw it when it came out or when they were younger. And I'm not saying that someone's going to turn this on for the first time and not like it now, but I think its notoriety, its fame, the legend of it is those people that were like, oh, what's this fucking movie? And then they have it happen to them. But so I think we covered it, unless anybody else has anything else to say about their time spent with Ichi.
So I don't know if you guys like had the same question or not, but what exactly was the deal with Gigi? Like, what's his reasoning for wanting to pit all these gangs against each other?
I don't know if they cover that in the manga or something, but all we have is that he wants to take them down. And from the film, anyhow, that's what I was able to ascertain.
I thought it was he was promised the money that they stole,
Okay.
and that was his whole reasoning.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the three of them were working together, and it was all in the guise of getting the money.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was it, but I could be mistaken.
Why did he need Ichi though? I mean, he was so strong.
he doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
Oh.
I
Well,
mean,
why be
kinda.
strong then?
Why
be that strong?
He's working on getting real buff so he can go fight Jesus.
Oh, he's saving himself for Jesus?
Yeah. But all right. That's it. We covered it. Ichi the Killer. Thank you, Brian, for bringing this to the table.
I'm sorry, Dustin.
That's all good, man.
You guys
Good job,
guys.
guys.
You guys got street cred on it now. It can come up in conversation at your family gatherings, and then you can be like, "Ah, yes, I have also watched that film." But it is what it is. For Pot of the Dead, I am Nicholas.
I'm Brian.
Dustin?
Tyler.
Come back and listen to us, or else.
Yeah.